Hello, nice to see you. How was this morning for you? For me, I slept well. I met many friends in Estonia yesterday and made some new ones. And I hope today we will make even more during this event. My name is Vladimirs Ivanovs. I'm Russian-speaking from Latvia, have half German wife, and working for Scandinavian companies like Telco, Tele2, in Kazakhstan, in Stockholm, in Latvia. So it was quite a lot of activity. What I'd like to share with you today is a practical case where I myself was driving a project for Tele2 Chinovik family. And it was not really software development. It was more about organizational change. Creating a service desk, a single point of contact for all countries where Tele2 does business. So users complain through different process and the systems are transferred to another location where they are handled. Okay? You see here two insects. When I was a small boy, I had a grandfather who taught me to beekeeping. And to me, properly handling bees is like maintaining project teams. Very similar. When he passed away, I had to take over this. And let me ask, what do you think? What bees see around them? What do you think? When they fly out and what they see?
Other bees.
Other bees? You don't even need to fly out to see other bees. And if they go away to the fields, what they see? Flowers. Blossom. It's like these teams who are properly managed. They see opportunities, rewarding work. But what about flies? When they go out, what they see around them, what attracts them? Garbage. You're correct. And my message here is quite simple. You will see that actually many things depend on your viewpoint. So, clash of Agile project in a Waterfall organization. Agile versus Waterfall. In many cases, it depends on your viewpoint. Philip Schroeder on this picture have coined the linear nature of Waterfall and iterative nature of Agile. Right? But let's ask another question. Who are here Waterfall adepts? I'm coming from IPMA. I used to communicate with projects, with guys who work with in construction. They do Waterfall for a reason. Who are also doing Waterfall projects? Okay. We are still alive. And who is Agile adept? Okay, bigger portion here. I can understand. It's Tallinn. It's a frontier of the technology in the world. But again, if we continue analogies, then what about your brain? You know that your creative right brain controls your left hand, right? And then your logical left controls your right hand. So who is left-handed here? Wow, we have creative people in the IT conference. Congratulations. This is not really, not mandatory, this division, but people tend to be more creative when they focus on one part of the brain and more logical when they focus on another one. And right-handed. Majority! Yeah. And let's continue. But again, before we discuss this, stop and think. Are you really only right-handed? Can someone just chop your hand, the left one? You don't need it? Probably you actually need it. And some studies have proven that to properly function for your right hand and for your brains, you need another hand also. So somehow you use it, both, but some other purposes. So if we continue analogies, we could end up in the same war in Blefuscu village, like in Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travel, where war erupted about two villages. Ones were adamant about starting an egg from the big end, and another insisted on starting an egg on the little end. I think same question, same analogy here. Right hand versus left hand, big engines versus little engines, Agile versus Waterfall. Many things depend on your viewpoint and where you find these things applicable, on what extent you find them applicable. This is exactly what we have encountered in this project. So this picture perfectly shows the difference that is, I think, key to understanding how to apply Agile values and principles and even practices properly to projects. In the inner circle, you have Agile values. Collaboration, openness, transparency, courage, commitment, focus, discipline, simplicity. Can you do it in a waterfall-based organization? Yes, we can. Yes, we did. So can you also follow the principles? Yes, some of the principles. Can you use some practices? Why not? Stand-up meetings. You can arrange your project work in the iterations. You can. Even if you have the framework requiring some documentation, etc. So in this particular case, we were more being Agile than doing Agile. That's the difference, and that, I think, the key to successful adoption of the Agile. Focusing on being Agile instead of doing Agile everything by the Agile book, because being dogmatic about Agile will not help you, as being dogmatic about project management processes did not help anyone yet. This particular case was Tele2 Shared Service Center in Riga, where approximately 200 people, now 400, serve Tele2 11 countries. Why Riga? Why service desk is established there? Because it's nearshore, it's low cost. Who I'm explaining this? You know this perfectly. You have many companies working with, for Scandinavian international companies, doing work here. Who is working in this kind of model? That the customers are outside Estonia. Yeah. Why shared services? Because company was in the search of the golden middle between centralized and decentralized operations models. And one additional reason was that they had in the group a unit who was doing this help desk work for desktops, but it was so inefficient. It was located in rural Sweden. So company decided to dismantle it. And they knew exactly the date when the contract is over and we need a replacement. So the fixed date was known. That's something. But again, organization was full of politics, big organization. So in order to overcome politics, we decided we need to show regularly that we are doing something good in the project. So we try to define how to show that weekly we have done something. So we created a plan in order to make sure that we communicate constantly small successes. And then also to start. Usual approach to projects in telecom is that we plan a lot and then we do a lot something in our back offices and then we go to customers and then they say, hey, we don't like it. Here we used the opportunity that in one country there was Siebel system rollout. They needed to establish the handling of the new system anyway. We went to them and said, be our pilot. Let's draw the process on the napkin. And we did. And after 2 weeks after we drew the process on the napkin, this country, all the tickets, all the account-related issues started to flow to Riga, where we took the organization. Have we been like putting big posters on the job ad? No, we just went to billing operations guys and told, come on, can we borrow 2 guys for a pilot? Okay. Can we borrow your desks and these few phones and add our new service desk phone and then email? Okay, do it. So we borrowed existing resources to test all the process for the new. So this was our minimum viable product. In typical telecom, approach to projects is like this. Scope is defined upfront, and this drives ability to make schedule and cost estimates. I'm executive MBA of Stockholm School of Economics, and then that's how MBAs are taught. You are perfect in creating schedule and cost estimates. You manage the schedules and costs. But pity that no MBA exists. No, it's the schools of business administration. You administer. You take data based on this. You do some predictions. If you are in uncertainty, unknown situation, you are lost as MBA. Because no school teaches like masters of producing results. That would be great school. So in this case, we had for the project make the paradigm shift, how it's called in scientific literature, comparing Waterfall and Agile, focusing on value instead of scope, focusing on schedule and cost. So we knew the cost, we knew how long we run, we calculated how many people we need to make the changes, what kind of tools we want to adjust, and okay, this is the budget. We have money. The schedule, we knew the deadline, when the contract is over, we need to switch all more than 200 system handling to this one location. But scope, yes, that was an interesting case. By the way, I will do like this. I will go from one story to another till the end. Just different stories that explain this particular case. Is it okay with you? Storytelling. And regarding the scope, telecoms and big companies, they always say no to scope creep. But we had to make small upgrade. And then we use this symbol because even the deaf people could understand it. So we say yes to scope creep. That means that we arranged the work. We had the backlog of the systems and the plans, but it was quite open. You will see later that if the opportunity arises, if the team stands up, someone from the team says, "Oh, shall we do this?" Then we decide in the team and we go for it. But I, as a project manager, had to follow double standard. Because for the team, yes, we do things in this way because we are quite pragmatic. We now understand in the other way we will not be able to do it, to switch over this amount of systems in 8 months. It's quite challenging. But you cannot create a Gantt diagram with 200 department systems to be transferred with all the trainings and then documentation and informing. So I had to use this double standard. I went to the steering committee and said, yeah, we have change in the scope again. And so I just accumulated the ideas that we worked with for the next steering and presented as a change with the reasoning. Fine. How I felt? Pressured. Because the official model of the company is this, how the projects go. It's a gate-based model. In Tieto it's called PPS, and in some companies where many project management models are similar. So you have gates where requirements are strictly defined. What shall be ready? So for us it was quite challenging to meet each gate requirement because of this. Especially in the, I call it Ortodox PMO. That's the most tense moment was when we needed to go for implementation. When all the initial planning is done and we needed to receive go from the steering and management that, okay, implement it. Because we created all the plans as it needed by PMO. So risk estimates, the diagrams, and then the PMO sent this command on the documentation. We are not recommending approval for the same reasons, mainly due to ambiguities concerning scope and time plan. Then then we replanned the things. We added to the plan 100 more lines. We added more mid-level risks and mitigation activities, and then presented back and received this. And then this, that we have differences in the approach. I saw no exit in this situation. So I went to the steering and said, come on, PMO expert gives a red light to continue with this agile approach. But, you know, the 30-70 principle, guys, you are executives. So we collect information and we plan things. When we reach 30% of everything for planned, then we could already have taken decision to go. For the quality of the outcome of the project, this will be okay. But now we are here, more than 50%. We just burned this time. But for the quality of the outcome, we added no value. We could continue, but for the quality of the outcome, we will be adding no value. And yeah, this was understood, but I think they had no chance because to keep us in the planning, because the contract, if terminated, and then to extend it, it's a very big cost. We received Go. Then it was much more easier. Then it was about living the Agile values, as many of the teams do. Living the Agile manifesto. One example, very small example, but still, working process over documentation, detailed documentation. I draw this explanation how the communication between roles shall work. And then instead of making it nice and part of the Word documents, and I've just included this in the steering presentation and send it to countries in this way, as a picture. Okay. It's not perfect documentation, but we saved time on redrawing it. Important that countries understood perfectly how roles work, and you can go forward. This leads me to another story. What is the service desk work? You receive the continuous flow of requests, and if you can automate something, you significantly decrease the amount of manual work. So we noticed that in the key in this new Sibyl system handling, the big portion of workload is coming because of account requests and modification requests, creation requests. In telecoms, there are many operators that come and go, and you have constant flow of these accounts. Account creation or processing automation was not in the scope, but we saw this is a perfect opportunity to make sure these help desks add value in the first place. So we borrowed a tool from the testing department that helped to create a semi-automated process. So the accounts actually are created during night, and then some operator goes through and just approves these accounts are okay. And by this, we have increased so-called first call resolution rate to 50% of the all flow. Another interesting trick when you start project. This is your hero. But when you go in the organization with the project, that everybody knows you are going against the flow, the flow of waterfall, then it's good to have also this feeling that you are doing something good. So we had the goal pitch of the project formulated in a short sentence, and when somebody from the team participated in the meeting, introduction is done, and then they said, we are working for the project and the goal pitch, and do the goal pitch. Short sentence. And this is for creating the mood. Also, building the identity of the project. I know that in corporations, all projects are the same. And the main identity is your budget and number of man-hours. Maybe sometimes your number in the ranking of among other projects. But it's good to have some identity. We just make this amateur photo. One colleague have brought his dirty cup, and we took this picture and started each presentation with this slide. That brings identity when you show up in an organization. Another two stories, sub-stories about Toolset. It's a two-sided issue. One think that fool with a tool still a fool. When you create tools for the guys, then you need to think if they will be able really to use it. And sometimes in big organizations, decisions about which tools to use are not made on which tools are bringing bigger value or are most useful for the guys who use it. I don't know how sometimes decisions are taken for other reasons. We'll not go deeper in that, but we noticed that the big tool Remedy is not as useful for the guys for the knowledge management, because they started to create their own wiki. They created their own wiki and started to put there all the information about this 200 systems in a very structured, nice manner. Nobody asked them, but they did it because in this Remedy we had the module about knowledge management, but it was not good enough for them, so they started. So we just observed. Okay, guys, what's this? This is how we think is a perfect way to store information and the knowledge. And actually, you see, we have also these colleagues, administrators of the systems in other countries, who can access this wiki. And they update this information there too. They don't mind, and they find it easy and too. Okay, guys. Maybe we put the Remedy aside from the scope. We put your wiki as a main tool then for the knowledge management. Another story. The guys who work in the help desk. What is often decision is taken like this. Okay, you know, it's a help desk about computers, so we take the most knowledgeable people about computers and put them in the help desk. If you are processing requests about systems, you put the most knowledgeable experts so they can resolve in the first place all the stuff. Logic is there, but what we end up with, you call to this help desk and you barely can communicate with the guys. You speak different languages. They speak this IT language. And then the business speaks slightly different language. So for creating a team, we in the first place evaluated people for these customer handling skills. We asked our experts of the customer operations to come with their very good program, how they train their team leads in the customer operations to good skill, and did this training first. And then we found in which areas we have more tickets and started to train guys in these technical areas next. But the customer service skills were trained first, and that was main criteria for choosing who is good fit to work in help desk. Interesting. The value stream. In the help desk, you can statistically find out what are the typical requests. In the Tele2 case was Lotus Notes based applications, because there are many small things that integrated to Lotus Notes platform and the small databases, and many requests are part of the big systems come from this related to Lotus Notes knowledge. So, okay, this is our value stream. This is our opportunity to train guys. We took one Lotus Notes consultant, the good one who wrote the red books for IBM and Lotus Notes. And he was training by some on-site, off-site consultations, the guys, how to solve the tickets related to this platform in the first place. So when they receive it by mail or phone, how they could sort it out immediately. That makes big sense. Results. Time. Usual length of the project in telecom. 12 to 24 months. That's small project, 12 months. And in this case, we finished in 8.5 months from the moment when I first heard about the idea. The cost. The budget we were given, but we saved approximately 30%. But again, to say we have been putting some things from the scope aside and adding things to the scope. So we ended up with some figure that is lower than was estimated in the beginning. But was it because we were so efficient, or it was because we found that some things are more valuable to do than another? It's hard to judge. The scope. We failed completely. We did significantly more than was asked. But we put aside some things that someone might end feeling unhappy, not having. But if we talk about the customers in the countries and the sponsors of the project, they were happy, satisfied. And that's one of the key measures, I think, for the projects. If they are satisfied, the customers, and for us that work, the countries and the sponsor. One learning. In this big organization, the culture is an important thing to take into account. Culture eats strategy for lunch, your project strategy. Because I have noticed that success of the manager is not in his bright idea how to sort out all organization's problem. His success is really in the ability to find solutions and implement solutions in this organization context, in this organization culture. If you have bright manager, but he is not able to convince that this is the right way, his value is zero. I'm a big fan of Agile and Untitled, but in this big telecom, I got spunky from the CTO of organization when I presented the Untitled as adaptation for structuring the processes, because we don't need this additional terminology. We have our way to do things. And what we needed to do we rebranded it to solutions to some problems. So actually some ITIL solutions were taken from the book. All the ITIL names were put aside, and it was presented back as a small solutions to the particular problems of the organization. That way is better in this organizational context. In some cases you need to do big presentation, but if you don't have the buy-in immediately, find another way. These things worked in the project, and this didn't. Like, one of the things about physical Kanban board, we used it, and we used in parallel the Lean Kanban, Lean Kit tool. But the duplication didn't work. The part of the team was in Stockholm, part was in Riga, and we always struggled to make sure things are duplicated. So the solution was, we were taking to the video conference the big paper with all the post-its, the physical board, and over the video conference took our stand-ups and updated it. Also, so-called war room is very useful concept. We convinced that at least in one location in Riga, we have all experts from different in one room. That really helped for agile projects. That's if possible, if you are able to put them in one room, do it. But again, the waterfall approach is good for some aspects. Because when you deal with some physical objects, some procurement, hardware procurement and then installation, that might be more applicable. The Agile is better for another things, when you have non-physical deliverables and you need to quickly correct. That actually leads me to one quotation I want to give you. That's by Standish Group, Chaos Manifesto, the latest one. They have written something about Agile approach. So, the Standish Group has come to believe that there is no need for large projects, and that any IT project can be series of small projects that can be done in parallel if necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't agree more. To me, this is clear answer how Agile is applicable to projects, small or big ones. This was the case from Telecom. Are these words, telecoms and Agile, oxymorons? Like having different meaning. Not you cannot put them together. Not really, because there are good Agile implementation, adaptation cases in big telecom organizations. Ericsson have done it for their 2,000 employees and presented some cases. You can find them online in 2012-13. And also AT&T in Israel did the same. I hear also stories from the telecoms, my colleagues in telecoms in Scandinavia and Baltics, trying these steps. But again, remember the bee and the fly. The big companies, they have different people. The process still the waterfall in majority of the cases. But the people who come, there are more and more people with a agile mindset coming in. And it's just up to you to decide which viewpoint to take. And if you are joining, don't change your skin from bee to fly. Just follow your nature if you are bee. Thank you. Questions? Here, some credits. And this presentation will be available on SlideShare, and organizers will send it to you. Thank you very much.